where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG and Balance7.com. If you're into sports betting, BetOnline is where you should go to win money today. Whether it's live bets during games or futures for who you think will win the championship, BetOnline has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online betting needs. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So I don't know if you've heard, but apparently former NBA player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon. I was reading a press release about how he started taking a pH balancing alkaline supplement called Balance 7, and that's what has helped him bounce back from his hospitalization in 2015. He even said, "I have an enormous amount of energy, which is good for me. It's important when working out. I always need energy to level up." I couldn't agree more with Lamar, and after watching him fight Aaron Carter in July's celebrity boxing match, I think it's safe to say that Balance 7 is working for him. Cool thing is, we've got a promotion running with Balance 7 right now, where if you go to their website, balance7.com, and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout, you'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. That product retails at $13.99, so I'd say it's pretty worth it. Again, head to balance7.com and use the code BLEAV at checkout to get in on the promotion. I know I will. If it worked for him, I think it can work for you too. Hey guys, welcome back to Chief Concerns. We got the full crew in the house tonight, where everyone's getting ready for week 1 of the preseason games. It's great to have you back, buddy.
Good to be back, man. Missed you guys. It's been a while. Seems like it's been a couple of months, huh?
It does feel like that.
Yeah, you look like you got a tan. You got the tan?
I did just a little bit. You ought to see my feet, dude. I guarantee my feet are whiter than Marcus.
That's tough, man. My feet look like milk. They're really
yeah, same.
You gotta take your shoes off, man. Get your toes in the grass and in the dirt a little bit. You know, touch that earth sometime.
Nah, I can't do that no more, man. That's for them rough houses. Feet look like they belong to bears, wild animals.
I'm saying, man, you put it in the grass, might soften it up a little bit.
I couldn't, you know, that's sad though. I couldn't even tell you the last time my feet have been on grass.
Wow, really?
I got shoes on 24/7. I think I sleep in shoes some nights.
Yeah, I'm a big shoes and sock guy myself, so I'm with you. I'm with you, E, on that.
Yeah. Hey, so I don't know why I didn't think of this. I had a question for you guys. It was based upon the Olympics and like the men's NBA, the run that they had. Why would we're taking the best of the best? Obviously, that's what the Olympics is. But in the most parts, you get a lot of people that are under the age of 30. But at times on the basketball team, and I would assume you would go with soccer. That's where you get a lot of older people at that, you know, from pro leagues that play. But we have our, you know, NBA players, and I was wondering, like, you know, we don't use our best players either way. You know, KD is one of our top players. I think Dame Lillard is a top 10. But outside of those two, you know, we don't have our best players out there. No Giannis, no LeBron, no Kawhi, no Steph. Would it be best for us as a nation to use our top college players and our top high school players? It gives them the exposure. Plus, I think, you know, we're good enough to compete with a lot of the top talent that we got coming out of college.
Shoot, no, not at all, man. We tried that, and we was getting beat. That was a problem. That's why.
We did.
Yeah. That's why we stopped putting NBA players back in it. Because,
when? Was this before the Dream Team?
Before the Dream Team, and then I think.
Okay, so Jay, look how far back basketball is.
No. I think we tried after the Dream Team too.
No,
we didn't. Okay,
no, because after that it's been Kobe and LeBron and those guys. We haven't had a high school or college team to play out there.
Well, look how the guys struggle. So they have not. So
because there's no team chemistry. That we struggle right now to me because everybody's a one-on-one player. You got great coaches, but you got these players out there that are so one-on-one dominant to the point where they know their skills so well. It's give me the ball. There's no running plays out there. You might get a couple of screens and plays like that, but for the most part, Popovich, they're not drawing plays up out there for those guys.
Yeah, I think you're still gonna run into the same problem, man, with college guys, because guys are coming into the league are one and done. The thing is, you got to realize. So, like you said, Giannis will probably play for Greece more than likely, for the Olympics. Same like what's the name? Dang. Baca, all these
I get
guys.
what you're saying. Like I get what you're saying. Like the top players in the NBA from other countries.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, why wouldn't we just use the top college players?
Shoot, man, we get beat. We get drugged. Trust me. We tried that at Formula before and got embarrassed. That's why them jokers had to come in like, look, you know what? If we're going to represent the USA, we're going to use the best. And even now, like you said, we didn't even use the best. We didn't use LeBron, Steph, who else?
Why?
I mean, come on. I mean, Kyrie could have been out there. There's a lot of guys out there that could have come out there to play and would have whooped everybody. But and you would think, with the guys that you put together, even if you play one-on-one, they should have easily handled these guys. And they struggled. They lost their two, with Nigeria. They lost to France, then Australia. So
I think it's more so the motivation that they don't have. When it comes down to it, they're not going to lose. I just don't think they're going to lose either way. Because we just have way too much talent here in the States, basketball-wise.
I mean, I would hope so. But, what I've seen out there on that court, look, I'm a Jason Tatum fan. He did decent, but thank God for KD. KD was the only one that said, I don't want me a gold. I'm not getting embarrassed out here with these guys like this. I'm not going to do it. And KD had to take it, upon his own shoulders. Because other guys, man, it was just, and here's the thing. It was a lot of just bad defense. And I know you see the games, man. It was just bad defense. Guys just wasn't playing like they should have. Because if you worry about
I get that.
And I get your point. What you're saying, like college guys, now all of a sudden you have somebody who's going to try harder, trying to do these things. And look, you could try it, but I don't know if we have time to be embarrassed, to be honest with you. If you're at the top of the world, I don't know.
And then it's like most guys want to win a championship rather than winning an Olympic gold medal. So I think it motivates those younger kids, college and high school, to play harder to achieve that gold medal or whatever medal that they get. When yet, yes, it is a great feat to go out and to get a gold medal is supposedly the best of the best, but that's not how the NBA players look at it that way. They'd rather chase that ring than chase that medal.
Well, I mean, that goes on to your
resume.
Yeah, your resume. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
part of.
Yeah, man. Look, hey, if I'm looking at my resume and I'm being considered for like whatever, Hall of Fame, whatever, shoot, the more accolades I can get, the better off I'm gonna be. And so when you're looking at some of these guys that who are young, don't quite have that experience, and look, and here's the reality: the world has caught up in basketball to the United States in a lot of ways. Yeah, they're not at our peak performance like the top guys, but as far as college and high school, they caught up, man.
We had JaVale McGee on the Olympic team. JaVale McGee is not an all-star player.
And Kelvin Johnson too.
Yeah.
Is any one of them guys better than college guys and high school guys? That's the question. That's what we're looking at, right? I mean, I would say they will. JaVale McGee goes against somebody in college, he should win. He should beat them. If not, you need to kick him to the curb. He shouldn't be in the NBA anymore, right? You got Bam in there. Bam getting beat. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it wasn't like just JaVale McGee, Bam was getting his butt kicked. So
okay. So to prove, get on your point, coming out of high school, they would have taken, I guarantee you, a team would have taken Zion Williams over a JaVale McGee. Now, I get your point of JaVale supposed to be better than whoever's coming out of college or high school. But you look at those top tier players that have come out. Look at the top 5 picks, or I can go top 10 picks. Which one of those top 5, 10 picks would you give up over JaVale McGee?
Shoot, none. I mean, I'm putting Zion on. Zion should have been on. To me, he should have been on the Olympic team.
But that should have been. That's right. A whole bunch of guys should have been on there.
Yeah, but then you start looking, to say, because look, and here's the reality. It's still that culture. You still look. Guys are being pushed to be individuals. Look, in AAU, look, my son now don't play it, man. It's gotten to the point where everybody is just selfish. It's about them. That's just part of what basketball is right now. So,
well, because now you got to look at it now because everybody's a brand themselves now.
Absolutely.
With this little NIL thing, everybody's a self-brand. So
right.
I get that.
Yeah. So how are you gonna get a guy to play a team ball if he ain't trying to get his brand on the biggest stage? In the world.
Because that's the biggest stage there is. You're going for an Olympic medal.
Yeah. So he gonna be out there trying to ball himself. He trying to take everybody one-on-one to the hoop. I would. Sure, I'm trying to score 40. Hey, I ain't worried about somebody else trying to score 20 or get a pass. I want people talking about me. If I get my brand out there. Hey, you see what Jason Dunn did in the Olympics? He was killing them, right? That's for a young man, a young mind, yes.
Now, but when you're the best of the best, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
What's that?
If you're the best of the best, my assumption is that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what these guys are doing in the Olympics this year, right? And you just said that they was kind of wrongful because that's what they were doing.
But JD, you gotta look at it this way too now. You have played pro sports. You know how big name guys are when it comes to coaching. They take it, but they also kind of do their own things with some of the things that they do. But they can get away with a lot of stuff.
Let me ask you this. Would you say football and basketball is 2 different sports in itself as far as team play, right?
How much coaching do you think that Krzyzewski and Popovich did when they had Kobe Bryant and LeBron and all those guys out there? All it was just yelling. You didn't have to tell those guys a whole lot of nothing.
Right. Kobe them, they coaching them guys up themselves. But
exactly. So that's my point, though. That's what it comes to with a lot of the NBA guys.
Right. I'm just saying, like in the league, NFL, like with professionalism, I guess I'm just comparing that. Guys got to be on the team game. Like T.O. asking for the ball. Like, look, man, T.O., look, if you ain't open, you ain't open. We ain't forcing the ball to you. There's 4 other guys out here that catch the football besides you, right? And we're going to feed you. We're going to do that.
But it happens.
It does. Well, I trust me. And you've heard, we got guys like that, right? And you see guys, what happens when guys are individuals kind of like in the league. What happens? You know what I'm saying? You get you're being castrated because you are that individual trying to be more than a team sport. Because, you being an individual in football ain't going to work, man. You ain't going to win the Super Bowl by yourself. I don't care what you do. Pat ain't going to be able to do it by himself. Tyreek can't do it by himself. I don't care who it is out there. They can't do it by themselves.
I get that.
Yeah. So I'm saying NBA, if individuals like KD took it upon his shoulders, KD, thank God, because he has a skill set to shoot and do what he needed to do. He was realizing that everybody else out here wasn't on the caliber he was. And he's like, look, I got a duty and a responsibility for the United States and for me to win this gold. He had to do it. Ain't no doubt about it. You ain't gonna take Devin Booker over some of the guys that's coming out, like some of these young guys. I would all day. Most of those guys on that we had on the team, I'm taking probably the top 10 of those guys over any of the college guys that we had come out.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. So I ain't gonna talk about JaVale McGee. That joker sit back and drink water. Let him sit back and drink water. Hold the clipboard. We ain't gonna talk about you. Let's talk about the top 10 we got. Well,
just saying. But we did a whole lot on that. So let's move on to the to the Chiefs' concerns.
That's a good question.
They did say, though, with the reason why a lot of the guys opted out is because the shortened off season last year. A lot of guys kind of wanted to have the full off season this year as much as they could, and that's why some of the guys didn't play on the USA team. And then also, this is one thing that last thing before we move on is I feel like the refs were kind of letting these guys play, and a lot of these NBA players, especially our team, we're used to getting these foul calls and going to the free throw line and making points that way. Whereas these international ball, they're kind of letting these guys play, which I did notice. I kind of liked the refs letting them play, which, maybe says a little bit about what the way the game is going on in the NBA is that, they said they're going to look at those ticky-tack fouls when it comes to Trae Young and those kind of things that this year, this offseason. So hopefully we kind of go towards this international kind of brand of playing and letting the guys play. So
yeah,
hopefully that goes that way.
We'll see.
Yeah. So it's week 1 of preseason football for the Chiefs here, and so we're going to get into some of the questions here based on that. But first, first concern tonight. So in an article published this week by The Ringer, Patrick Mahomes says he's watched Super Bowl plenty this offseason. And one of the quotes that kind of stands out in terms of the way he says he can improve this season is, quote, "I kind of get back to that backyard style of football a little bit too much." And you could definitely see that in the Super Bowl. I mean, there were times the pockets were clean and I was still scrambling. Now, nobody seriously thinks he was the reason why we lost the Super Bowl, but hearing him say stuff like that after a whole offseason to watch the Super Bowl and kind of improve his game, what does that tell you about Pat and going into this upcoming season?
I mean, for me, it just tells me the things that I've already known. He's a selfless guy. He's not one to sit there and point the finger at the offensive line for missing a block, a receiver for dropping a pass, tight end running a wrong route, the running back misdirection and not picking up a block coming in. So he's there to make sure that he is the team leader. And for him to be in that position, they put their all trust in him right now. The bank is already in his backpack. So for him to go out and to sit there and critique whatever he saw, that wouldn't be, like we were talking about earlier, team ball. You don't sit there and do that. You sit there and pick out the things that you did during the game. And even though we didn't think he played bad or had any mistakes, when you're trying to get out of pocket, we're all in awe because Patrick is always doing amazing things. And even during that game, he made some amazing throws and some of those catches that, probably didn't accumulate to what they've been over the years. But it's not for him to sit there and criticize or critique others when you're being asked those kind of questions. If you ask me about the guys that I played with, I can only talk about myself. I can't tell you what the other guys did or why they did what they did, or to sit there and put my teammates down because something happened to one individual, or maybe somebody in the front seven. So that's not team ball. I agree 100% with where he took the entire conversation.
Yeah, first off, let me say it, Marcus, that hat you got on is fire. It's absolute fire, brother.
Thanks,
I need to know where you get it from. You got to tell me after this, for real. But I think, reflection of the game, that's you're always going to do that. And so he knows it's like once we go on film, we start looking at, our play. You start looking at what you could have did better, right? You start looking at things that you could have improved on. Or I'm sure he's looking at passes he could have made, guys that was open at a time that he probably could have got the ball to, where he felt like he didn't have to scramble. Yeah. So that's just taking responsibility for, his play. Like he said, you got to just take responsibility for your play. Don't point the finger to somebody else. Talk about the things that you did or didn't do. And so I think it's just a mark of a winner. Somebody who wants to be successful, who's trying to be the best. So you got to critique it. That's a good thing. So him saying that is a total evaluation of what he did in the Super Bowl, but also to the entire year. And the reality is, when you live and die by the past, and the whole year you was just torching people, and our offense was just torching people on the pass, sometimes what you end up doing is leaning on it a little bit too much, right? So they end up doing that as opposed to like the running game. I know several people was out like, man, how come they run into football? How come they didn't do this? Well, because we live and die by the pass. We are pass first offense. That's what we do. And we're great and we're the best at it. So I know he was just sitting there and saying, like, look, you know what? Let me improve my game. Let me improve the entire game, help everybody else understand their role in this as well. So, that's good for him to do. That's good for him to do. Yeah. Now, offensively, offensive line, we're in a better shape. Him having a better handle. I think now when you see him at camp, he's got great rapport with the guys, even the new guys coming in. And part of like being that professional guy is helping other guys learn what you need to do to win the game at all costs, right? So that just goes into it. So yeah, hats off to him, man. It's just, self-reflection is good for every one of us.
Yeah, and I got to give him credit for being able to watch that game as much as he probably has this offseason because, as a fan, I can't watch that game. I watched it once and I've seen clips here and there since, and I can't watch it again. I can't bring myself to do it. So I give him a lot of credit for being able to do that. And also, I guess one thing that, part of Patrick Mahomes' charm, obviously he's a badass and he's one of the best he's the best in the league. But part of his charm is the whole backyard football style that he does bring to the NFL. And for him to say, I bring myself to do that instead of, just in a clean pocket, stepping up and actually making a throw. I find myself to do the backyard style. That's part of his charm, though, man.
It is.
So when he says that, I kind of, I don't want him to lose that, lose that kind of, that kind of charm he brings to the table. I don't want him to get rid of that,
I don't think you will.
Patrick's Patrick. I've seen on Instagram and other social media outlets, he's out at training camp making the same passes. He's not doing a lot of the scrambling per se, but he's making a lot of the passes, whether it's a no look, the sidearm. But he's got to be himself because, as you said, that's him. That's what basically took us to the big dance and won it for us. So there's no reason for him to get away from who he is. Yes, you're going to always find things that you can correct or fix. And I think that's basically what he's kind of nitpicking at.
Yeah. They almost say like there's a method to, the madness, right? And so like he was talking about like the scrambling around part. But we don't want him running around with the football that much, trying to make a play. Because, he's the franchise. And so you start putting yourself in a position maybe to possibly getting hurt or maybe trying to extend a play, but you don't need to, and throw the ball out of bounds, right? Shoot, you line up, let the defense go ahead and play. Shoot, we just set it back up, stack them back up.
Don't throw it out of bounds. He's been known to make big plays on the run, so
with him
throwing it down the field.
Right. Look, don't take away from what you do, right? But also too, like he's just saying, maybe, and he knows this himself, right? We can all just critique it and say, but he knows himself, like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I know I should have did this with it. I know that, and I was thinking that, but I didn't do it because I was trying to extend the play. So I want him to play for as long as he can without any type of injuries, but he don't need to. But also,
my whole thing with Patrick doing anything, scramble all you want to, just avoid the big hits.
Right.
Avoid the hits. Yeah. If you want to force it down the field with the immaculate, crazy, amazing plays that you've been doing, continue doing it. Just avoid the big hit.
And then he came in the game, but he was a little banged up when his ankle. So, I know sometimes when you in a game like that, you're trying to make a play, you're trying to make something happen, and maybe sometimes when you try too hard, you're doing too much, and you're taking the whole everybody else side of it, and you're thinking, look, I got to rely on my teammates too, but to let them understand, like, look, they ain't just not me backyard football, but hey, Tyreek, hey, why don't you come back? Why don't you filter here? Right? Like we need to start getting on to, a better understanding about the game, right? They say being an intelligent football player. So he's bringing all that intelligence and getting intelligence out of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, seeing what he said and, being able to watch that game and, kind of take aways from it, I think we might have, and with his O-line he's going to have this year, I think we might have, I think his stats might, outtake his what he had his MVP season. So hopefully when he matures, his stats will grow as well, and another game to do it. So I'm looking forward to what he can do this year.
I'm just looking forward to Pat being Pat. I don't care if he goes for more stats than he's done, as long as he gets us to the promise. Well, do what he's doing. Just continue being Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. We love the backyard style, so continue doing your thing, buddy. So the next concern, obviously this is something that every fan base is watching their team's training camp. Everyone's, commenting on the one-on-one drills, whether it be a receiver, a cornerback, or, the O-line, D-line. And so this is something I want to get your guys' opinion on. Just I've seen beat writers talking about it, specifically when it comes to one-on-ones with the O-line and the D-line. Some beat writers from all types of fan bases have been saying that you really can't take anything away from the one-on-one drills when it comes to the O-line and D-line because it clearly benefits the defensive line. What are your guys' takes on that?
Now, I've seen some of the best O-linemen, and I guarantee you Jason can admit that because he lined up on the side of it does not benefit the defensive line. I've seen Willie Rowe from Will Shields just completely, take guys out on a daily basis. No matter who it was, whether you had the speed to try to get around them or you try to bull the bull rush.
Bull rush, yeah.
Those guys are too skilled at what they do. And so they've seen it all, they know it all. And they know how to play against it all. So I don't think it benefits the defensive guy. Yes, it's going to benefit us if it's Chris Jones because he's probably better than most of the guys that we have on our offensive line. But for the most part, it's going to benefit the best player, because it's you up against this guy one-on-one. And if you're the best player of the majority of the reps, you should have the better day when it comes to the end of it.
Spoken like a true defensive player. True defensive player right there.
Hey, man, I just gave your whole offensive line credit.
You did. Hey, I appreciate it. Listen, okay. So one-on-ones, right? And look, and he is absolutely right. Look, Will Shields, Willie Rowe are wearing guys out. Okay. And the guys, defensive line is always lined up off sides. They always lined up off sides. I don't care what you say. Practically, they in the zone. They're getting off before the guys are coming off the football. And then what happens is where, at least in the game, you have the guard right beside you to take up some of that space. But then you had to just go out on the island on your own each time. That's a little tough. Sometimes it's just a little chip with somebody can help you with. But look, one-on-ones are one-on-ones, man. It's just competition. He knows that. Like you said, the DBs, they know they're going to hold. I know E held guys, I'm sure, in one-on-one. Didn't he? Look at him laughing. Look. hey, it's all part of it. Like,
I was a big corner, so I was one of the physical ones. I mean, if I get within my 5 yards, it's going to be hard. I'm going to give you hell in that 5 yards.
Right. See, and part of the problem is this. The guys out there that's running the drill aren't referees, right? It's either the D-line coach or O-line coach. So sometimes it varies. It varies who's actually winning in that. But I wouldn't put a lot of, I'll say this. I won't put a lot of stock in it because I don't know one guy who hasn't gotten beat. There's no guy that's been 100%. Guys just going to get beat in practice sometimes. It's just what it is. I mean, these guys on the other side get paid too. And so if he ain't beating you, you need to evaluate the guy that you're going against. Yeah. Maybe he don't need to be out there on Sunday. So he might not need to be considered for the 53-man roster. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just how it is. But if a guy's getting beat consistently on the offensive line, yeah, you need to evaluate that. And coaches are looking. But that's the time for guys to start, working on your individual things, your techniques, your steps, your timing in your head, right? Your hands. And so the same thing, like, as a tight end, if I'm running routes, I got to know when I can push off and when I can make it look good. I need to work on my move to get out of the break, how I can set a guy up. So all those things are worked on a one-on-one. Am I going to get beat? Sure, it's going to happen sometimes. But a guy that's starting, if he's getting beat all the time, then you might have a problem. Now you need to evaluate it more. But if a guy get beats every once in a while, not a big deal. Don't put no stake into it, none whatsoever. He's just getting himself better before he knows the game, and he knows in the game he might have a little bit of help. So that's it. No big deal. He said I just started laughing. See, they say, well, I'm just physical. I'm a physical corner. I'm physical. Okay. Yeah, I felt that little tug on my jersey too.
I won't give a tug.
Okay.
That ain't me. I'm a line of scrimmage guy.
Okay. All right. Well, good. That's how I hurt my back, man. Somebody tugged me. I was coming out of the break.
I can imagine.
I was like, oh man.
Now, would you hold more stock in one-on-ones when it comes to receiver, cornerback, more so than D-line, O-line?
It's all the same. You know,
Same.
you're at a disadvantage when you're out there one-on-one just because, for one, there's no pressure on the quarterback. Right. You know, guys can, make extra moves, and, the quarterback's going to wait until you're open. So, but heck, just like JD said, you're both going to lose at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those extra moves. I see dudes like that, wide receivers running a good route. Well, they took 5-6 seconds trying to run the route.
Man, I've been seeing a lot of that on like social media. Guys are running like triple moves like that. That is not allowed in the NFL.
No, it's not.
And y'all out there, you're out there jumping around excited because you made a move over here, a move over there, and then another move, and you got the ball. Like, no, that's not a route.
No.
There's 9 routes. There's a route tree that consists of 9 routes.
And they tell you in your head as an offensive lineman when you're blocking, because I did a whole lot of blocking, trust me. Hey, the clock in your head, 4 seconds. Give the quarterback at least 4 to 5 seconds. You have to give that for the ball to get out of his hand, period. So as soon as the ball, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005, ball's got to be gone, right? So if a guy's sitting over there like this at the line of scrimmage doing, he done.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
He over there like the Flintstones trying to get started.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
Well, that's why that 7-on-7 drills, they have like that little orange cone in the middle. As soon as you take the ball off, it has the 5-second clock. So the quarterback's still the ball's still in the quarterback's hands. It's a sack. So
yeah, but there's still no pressure in the quarterback's face. So it's just it's mostly a disadvantage for the defense.
Yeah, Pat's dropping back, man, with 5 seconds. Breeze going through his hair.
Yeah,
he's good. He could have a sip of water if he wanted to. Sure.
But a lot of the one-on-ones that I've seen from Chris Jones or O linemen in general, Chris Jones has been pretty good. Has been giving it to our O lineman. He looks really good.
Marcus, he's one of the top 3 best interior linemen. He's supposed to.
Yeah. And the depth chart came out, has him listed as a DM, which I thought that was pretty. We talked about that during the offseason. JD said earlier on the offseason that if he's listed as DN, he might have to renegotiate that contract going forward.
That's right. Do it.
All right. So our next concern, Saturday, our guys are going to be traveling to San Francisco, a rematch the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Now, with the first preseason game, what are you kind of looking at as former players? What are you looking at the kind of keying in on in this first preseason game? And what are coaches generally looking at when it comes to the first preseason game? Because, stars only get 1 quarter. So,
it'll be pretty basic for the starters. So I don't think anybody out there is going to go 100 miles an hour full tilt at starters. And it's mostly preseason games are, to get your feet wet and to have the younger guys have a chance to make a name for themselves and get a starting job. Well, not a starting job, but a place on the team. Yeah. Whether that's practice squad or, you're trying to compete with somebody else at a starting position. So it's just for the young guys.
Yeah, that's it pretty much. That's just an evaluation, on the 53-man roster, right? Is this guy going to play special teams? Is he going to be the 4th and 5th receiver? How's it going to work into his, is he going to travel? So like everything he said, man, it's just evaluation with the young guys. Guys that come in, like I said, they'll come in maybe 1 or 2 series at the most. It's going to be real basic. Ain't going to be a whole lot of your plays that you run. You ain't showing too much, so you just want guys to get like you said, get their feet wet. Just kind of introduce them to the game. You're going to see these young guys come out there salsa, and that's what they want to see. They want to see the young guys compete. All right. Yeah. How hungry are you to come out here to play in an NFL game? Are you ready? So it's pretty much, that younger evaluation that you're doing. Older guy, you just trying to, shore some things up, little tweak here and there, just like, okay, we just kind of work on it, but basic.
Now, okay, so what about the guys? Like I said, you have the ones, but then you got guys like, for example, in our situation, our number 2 receiver is kind of up in the air right now. It's between Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman, which you'll probably see those guys running with the Chad Henne group and the following from after that. With those guys, are you going 100 miles per hour, or are you still kind of in a walkthrough mode?
I don't think there's not a walkthrough mode. It isn't a game mode because you can't risk an injury trying to go out there and play a preseason game, especially if you're in a role that's as a starter. And so it's not a practice mode. It's not a walkthrough mode. It's almost, hell, I could just call it just preseason mode, basically, because it's not, the real bullets out there flying. But you are trying to make an impact at the position that you're striving for, and you are, trying to prove that your playbook, you know the game, you understand your role. But if you can't go out there and make the plays with all that, then during these preseason games, then yeah, your evaluations, they're just checking things off as you go.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned Nicole Harden, but I don't think he's going to be out there that long either, just because it's going to be evaluated more like the fourth, fifth, and sixth guys as far as receiver, because they're not going to be playing with Chad Henne. They're just not. And so it would be no advantage of Nicole Harden being out there with Chad Henne when he's not going to be throwing the football to him during the year. So you're probably your top four guys that it's like, okay, we're going to give you limited reps. The very next preseason game, they might get a little bit more, put those guys in there. But now the very first one, yeah, you're looking for maybe the sixth and the fifth guy getting some more work than everybody else. Like E said, man, you don't want anybody getting injured right now, because there's going to be some heroes trying to make the roster. They're going down, hitting your knees. I mean, it just happens like that. And so you want to be able to protect those guys every chance that you get. And so Nicole might want to go out there and play more. Hey, man, come and sit down. Have a seat. No, you done. Hey, coach, have a seat. You are done. That's it. Next week after that, okay, we'll let you play a little bit more. But right now, the first one, no, let these young guys get it. These young guys right here, they trying to make the roster. They trying to be here in Kansas City. You got a spot. You got a house, right? So you good. Sit back.
Under Coach Vermeil, I don't remember this that well. Would you guys play like one series in your first preseason game, or would it be the full first quarter?
I don't know. It just depends. They have it to where like you gradually each week you build up more and more plays to try to get you acclimated for the season. You want to get those legs up under you. You want to have that that breathing right, that you can go out there and run 4 snaps in a row and not be blended, and have somebody to come out there and take you out. So you just gradually building up reps to get you prepared for that first preseason game and going into the season. So it's just a matter of how the coach feels and what he wants to give his starters.
Right. And they always told us before the game started how many reps you're getting, when you're coming out.
Yeah, dude, you get pissed because you always want to play more. It's like,
I know it. I know it. That's what I was always saying, man. We just competitors. But that's like I said, hey, come and sit your butt down. Have a seat, man. You done. You're not going back in. I don't care if you just warming up. I don't want you to warm up. Matter of fact, I don't even want you to take for the game. If it was up to me, I don't even want to play you. So that's what they got. So Vermeil was more so first series, maybe 1 or 2 series. That was it. And then second, third tier guys might get a little bit of maybe the second quarter, and you done at first.
Well, I tell you this: if you go out there and they tell you got 1 series, and you go out there and stink it up, you might be run out there for a second series. And that's a good chance, because they're gonna want to see something positive out of the team. So.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was there ever a time where you guys remember during your first preseason game, where maybe one of the guys, one of the starter types got hurt in that first like kind of preseason game? You're like, oh man, like shoot, like a bad injury. Do you guys ever recall a time like that?
I don't recall a starter getting hurt, not in the preseason game. My memory doesn't. I don't have the best when it comes to storytelling like JD. I just know that for my first, I was in that draft class with Randy Moss. He was the first round pick and the highlight of the entire Minnesota Vikings team. And he didn't have the best game against me, but I think he caught like a 25-yarder. That was like a post corner, and I was in a cover 2, and they threw the ball up high, and he went up and got it. Touchdown in my area. And I know I had to interview with Adam Teicher at the end of the game, and I told Adam, like, man, I think this is like, my last game, like I think I'm, probably gonna get cut just because of this touchdown. And Adam was like, man, that's Randy Moss, right? Like he's gonna be a Hall of Famer someday. So no, I don't think they're gonna cut you based off of a 20-yard touchdown, but you played a pretty good game. So, but I didn't think I'd be placed, especially my rookie year, in the mix-up to go up against somebody at his caliber. But they gave me a chance.
That was your first preseason game?
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
But we practice against the Vikings every year out of River Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say every year, because a couple of times I think we had the Saints that came out there. That was a big fight too. But yeah, that was my first preseason game there.
Did you and Randy, y'all came in the same year too, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Now, I got hurt preseason when I was in Philly. And I missed like the first 2 or 3 games, hurt my knee. And it was just like one of those things. I was blocking, and the defensive end from the opposite side kind of got thrown over, and his helmet ran directly into my knee. And I hyperextended my knee, tore my PCL in the back, and had my medial tendon was stretched. And so I remember that every time a guy gets hurt like that or something, I don't care if he just lays down for a second. You hear coaches get that, oh shit, why is he in there? Why you got him in there? Why is he in there, coach? What's he in there for?
Yeah.
So, you never want to have those conversations, those people yelling things out, because it's like, that's the question. Like, why is he in here? You don't need to be in here this long. We need him for the season. And so I think they did a great job of that, Coach Ramil. And I know, a lot of the offensive coaches were big on that. Like, look, man, we don't need you right now. We need you during the season. We need you to score touchdowns and points during that time. So yeah, Al Saunders was real big on that.
Yeah,
we don't need you right now. We need you during the season. So yeah, that's always a bad feeling. Always a bad feeling. Somebody get hurt during preseason.
Now, how long were you in your first preseason game?
Oh, then when my rookie year, I played, as a rookie. They don't care nothing about it.
You need an oxygen tank when you're
right. JD, get back in there. The vest is like, JD, get back in there. I'm like, dang,
Hey, you're gonna play the offensive series and every special team series.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't care if you get drafted. It's your first year. You are playing. You're gonna play, right? So for me, I played the first entire half and part of the second half.
Wow.
And it was basically they want to see what I could do. It was like this. You want to see what we could do. Get out of it. And then back then, man, it was totally different. It's a totally different time, man. So I was getting tattooed in practice, Marcus. I guess went up in the middle, tattooed me, taking my head off. Shoot.
Wow. Anything specific do you remember from your first preseason game, or is it just more you played a lot that game?
I remember I remember because I called end up 6 balls against Baltimore, and me and Ray came in together, Ray Lewis. And so I called like 6 passes, and I just remember how good I was just feeling, because it just, everything was just working for me. I was coming out my breaks, ball was just right there. And I remember like toward the end of the game, me and Bobby Horn was my quarterback at the time, played at Ohio State. I remember telling Bobby toward the end of the game, we had a chance to win it. I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, throw it up. I don't care where you throw it at. That's how I felt like Randy Moss at the time. I was like, hey man, throw it up. I don't care where you throw it at. I'm gonna go get it. All right. So that's how it was. I just remember that feeling of just being out there on the field, like he said, couldn't catch my breath. I was almost like when you look at guys who come over just like eyes just open and just my coach was like, yo, Jay, just calm down, get a breath, relax. And I just remember I felt like I was just
it's like you're in Little League again.
Yeah. They throwing water on my face, just splashing you. So yeah, man, that's what I remember, just being like overwhelmed in a sense. Like I'm actually here, I'm playing. And I didn't play at a big school like Nebraska. How many of y'all have every year, at a game? Every game?
80,000 maybe?
See, he played in the 80,000. We was getting maybe 25,000, maybe 30 at our game. So you see 80,000. Oh my golly, this is totally different for me. But I enjoyed every minute of it, man. But yeah, you could hear guys' knees shaking coming out of the coming out of the tunnel.
Now with Eric, since you were later on in the draft, now is that a little different when it comes to like as far as being a 7th round pick? Were you guys on the field more than the obviously the other 3rd or 2nd round guys?
No, I mean I think Victor Riley was our 1st round pick. He got his reps with the 1s, and I think he got some extra reps with the 2s. And then they pulled him out. I don't recall. I don't know what I don't know if I was with the 1s or not. I just know that it was a couple of series that I had to run up against Randy Moss. And why he was in the game so long, I don't know. But when they throw you in there, you don't really care who you're with or who you're going up against. You're trying to make a team, you're trying to earn a check. So you got to go out there and make plays. And, I get it what Jason's saying, like you dead tired, eyes bug wide, but you got to try to suck it up and find that energy to get you through the rest of this game because, that's a nice income that you're trying to make. So you're willing to do whatever it takes and stay on the field for every single rep if you have to.
Now, Jason, you said you were kind of nervous from that. I'm sure both of you guys were nervous for your first preseason game. That kind of the jitters you had for that first preseason game, was that anywhere near the jitters you have for the first regular season game? Or was it more just like that was your first NFL game, no matter regular season or preseason, you were just kind of just like nervous? Did it help with your regular season game?
Man, I had jitters every game I went out there that my rookie year. You just had the anxiety of just going out there. I think anticipation more so than it was. So it was almost like that. So I kid you not. Every game that I played, I think my coach had to pull me out for a second so I could catch my breath, because it was just like it constantly. So just like, hey, here, breathe, take it in. And so what we ended up doing, which was actually genius, is I would come out and during the preseason, the pre-warm up, and just kind of run it out of me as much. It just kind of get me tired a little bit, to kind of get that nervousness off me a little, and it helped. It did. It helped out a lot. But those jitters and stuff, man, before the game, shoot, man, you hear, if planes are flying, you coming out, the crowd is just soaring. I mean, it's that.
Yeah, but that's when you're hyped though. So you're ready for it then. But it's like when them seconds start,
yeah,
it's a whole different experience.
Oh, it is.
So like for me,
mm-hmm.
I was not even on special teams when I became a starter, but I would run down on the kickoff team every game. The first kickoff, that was it. The first kickoff, I went out, I ran down to play safety because I had to get myself into it. And for the first play when we lined up, every single game, E. Hicks will tell you, every single game, we would headbutt each other.
Is that right?
Yep.
Tradition. That's good. That's good. And that's what it took. It took the first hit for me. The first hit was the one that kind of woke me up, got me out of that nervousness and stuff. That's what it was. And that's why I just needed. I needed that first one, like, just go, okay. All right, get your bearings. Here we go. Let's go.
All right. Okay. So last thing before we go, I know we kind of briefly talked about the first preseason game. What's the one thing you're going to be looking for in the starters in that first quarter? And obviously, it's more of like a dress rehearsal, just try to get everyone acclimated again. But what's one thing you will be kind of looking at from offense or defensively just in that first quarter?
The first game isn't going to tell me anything. I mean, it's basically going to be the young guys, and I think we mostly are looking at the young linebacker core to see what these guys do as far as competition-wise, the offensive line to see what kind of chemistry that they have together. Other than that, I think the rest of the team is basically set to what it was from last year.
Yeah.
And you're right now trying to have these guys here work on their chemistry and at team speed, at game speed, to see how well you kind of put this thing together over camp. So I think the linebackers and the offensive line for the most part. I think the receivers have done enough during training camp to put themselves in a position as to what the receiver core is going to look like throughout the year. And the rest of the team is probably set the same way. It's just, to me, I think the defensive, the linebackers and the offensive line are two places where the reps are really going to matter for those guys.
Yeah, for me, it would have to be, the younger guys, like you said, we don't know. Just him playing in the red and white, with the KC on their hat, just going at it. Noah Gray, Bolton's, Trey Smith, Creed, all these guys, man, we want to see what they can do. I think, personally, defensively, I think the defense should be further along than the offense. That's the way I feel about it. I think sometimes when you see those guys, if they're ready, if they're kind of locked in, to me, that's what I want to kind of see. So I know what, like, offensively, it just takes time, like you said, with timing and whatnot. There's just so much you got to do is learn the playbook and whatnot, and guys just being on the same page. Not saying defensively is not like that, but at least I want them to be staunch. I want them to be ready. And I want them to come out there and just start firing out on guys. And you see that, man, from the defensive standpoint, at least for me, I'm going to be happy. So that's it. And just watching the young guys play good.
Yeah.
And some of I'll say this too, the running backs, right? I want to see some of these guys, man, get in there. Jared McKinnon, the Williams. I'm going to check these guys out. I'm going to see what they can do. Hilaire ain't going to get a whole lot of in, out. But these other guys, let me see what you can do.
Yeah, I obviously, same for me. The young guys in the O-line, the young linebackers. But yeah, the running backs, because we have 4 right now between Darwin Thompson, Darrell Williams, McKinnon, and Hilaire. It's Williams, McKinnon, and Darwin Thompson. See which ones last and which because we're probably not going to hold 4 going into the season.
No.
So one's got to go, and Darwin Thompson just got back from injury, and Darrell Williams just got back from injury as well. So we'll see what happens with those guys. And then Jerick McKinnon signed a really small deal, so it doesn't we're not really tied to him. So it's gonna be interesting to see what comes out those 3.
Yep.
Tell you what, man, they just tell you, man, hey, make it hard for them to cut you. Make it hard. Make it a hard decision for them to cut you. You want them guys staying up late at night like, man, he plays so well. Hey, God, what we gonna do? Right? Shoot.
I mean, it's going to sound like they made it hard to cut you when they bring you in the room. Man, it's a difficult decision, but no, it ain't.
Yeah. Hey, man, we didn't know what we was going to do. She made it hard on us. Yeah, some of them guys, yeah.
I mean, I can see, like, it's got to be hard no matter what. Even if a guy's just like, one of the first ones to go, you've built a relationship with these guys over the last few months and whatever. So I can understand how hard it is, especially as a position coach, to let them go when you built such a relationship with them. So, but it's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
The first round of cuts happen after the first game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to start cutting the fat off. Start trimming it. They already started evaluating, trimming the fat. They already know. So, it's always that second or third preseason game. It's always going to be tough. So,
and there's probably going to be more cuts with the new three preseason games. Probably going to be more. It's going to be expedited now. It's going to be kind of a faster process, probably, right? I have to imagine.
And second preseason game, boy, is going to be woo. Hey, and the thing is, because you start camp with a lot of guys. When you get to that 53-man roster, you're like, man, where did everybody go? Just like it just.
You notice it.
Yes. Yeah. Man. So.
Well, we wish all the young guys across the league all the best of luck this weekend. Hopefully everyone stays injury-free, and hopefully everyone makes it hard for their coaches to make a tough decision, or make it, make a coach make a tough decision, essentially.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask this before we go. You expect us to win? Let me ask that. Expectation to win?
Do I?
Yes.
I mean, I would hope so.
Okay.
I think we're the better team.
Okay. All right.
I think the Niners are going to win just based on the fact that with the whole seeing how Trey Lance looks in a game, and I think he might get, because I think Mac Jones got a lot of playing time tonight, and I think they're going to let Trey Lance play a little bit longer. And between Trey Lance or Chad Henne, I think Trey Lance, if he's got a future in this league, he should be able to outperform Chad Henne in this opener. But it's preseason. We'll see. All right, guys, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we have some more stuff to talk about with the what happens in week 1, and obviously looking forward to week 2 of preseason and I think week 3 of training camp. So, and if anybody has any concerns for these two guys, please tweet at us at @ConcernsChief or email us at chiefconcerns@yahoo.com. Guys, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
All right.
Easy, guys.